Hello everybody, my name is Connor, some people call me NobleAsta, and I am here with another tournament of Croc. So we will be posting 3 games. Unfortunately this tournament I ended 2-2, but this game is versus RP Law, and it's a really good game. First, I do want to say my opponent is relatively new to the game. He's been playing RP Law since he joined, I feel like a couple months ago at this point. And every time I see him, his deck gets scarier and scarier. So he's got a little bit of an off-meta build, but honestly, it's kind of working. And this game was so much fun. My opponent was so much fun to play against, and we both had like a really good time. It was really close. I lost dice roll as per usual, and I ended up going first. So turn 1 play, nothing for me. Turn 1 play from him, nothing. Turn 2, I go ahead and I swing big into Law. I get the what is that? 5, 6, 7, 8 a swing, and he ends up getting Gamma Knife out of his trigger and out of his life, and that is to ramp a Dawn. I personally love Gamma Knife in RP Law. It's so good. Gamma Knife, I would even consider like Round Table in RP Law if there's space, if you're dealing with a lot of big bodies. But anyway, he goes ahead and he swings 5, and he has 5 Dawn. And I'm like, I'm stressed. He swings 5, and I'm debating on if I want to take it or if I want to counter out with one of my Bond Clays. I decide to take it. I get Blast Breath. No trigger on that, unfortunately. He taps 5 and drops the Captain Kid blocker. That is literally his second turn getting Kid out. Huge. So he plays out Sachi, and Penguin gets the 2 Dawn for them. And he gets the 1 active for Kid. And he does forget, because his Dawn got kind of shuffled around. He does forget, and I'm like, wait a second, dude. You used all your Dawn. And he's like, that's right. My bad. And I'm like, no worries, dude. You know, this is locals. It's round 1. I'm chilling. He's a good kid, so I'm not worried. So we top deck Katakuri, and I'm like, thank God, I know exactly how I'm getting rid of that kid. If I can't get him to block with that kid is going at the bottom of his life on turn 8, dude. But I'm kind of thinking that my play here is to drop. I'm trying to decide if I want to drop Bon Clay first or swing first. I swing 6, he counters out with Miss Double Finger, and then I tap my 4 and I drop Bon Clay. I figure this way I've got a Dawn up for Blast Breath, and we can get a little Croc going. So not the worst thing at all. And I know there's a very good chance that Bon Clay is going to get bottom decked, and I don't blame him there, but getting that extra Dawn, RP Law, this is the fastest I've seen RP Law ramp. And we were constantly joking through the game, like, oh, like, I've never seen an RP Law with so much Dawn. I know some of the newer builds have a little bit more ramp for RP Law. Definitely some builds I want to try, but I'm having so much fun with some other decks here. So he goes ahead, swings 7, and he's swinging 7s, which I honestly, like, from him, I love to see it, because, you know, as I fought him in like the first week he showed up and he beat me, but I'm bad, so no, he beat me. I played horribly, but he did well, and seeing him know to swing 7s, it brought me so much joy. I love playing against this kid. It's so much fun, and seeing his deck improve and him improve is like such a heartwarming feeling. Honestly, I love the guys at my locals. So he's swinging 7s at me, which is literally like the most annoying thing. I have 2Ks, and that's great, but it's so frustrating because I have to give him a 2K and a 1K. Like, that's why you swing 7s. I get it, but I'm mad about it, you know? So he drops the Wire, which is actually, I'll put a picture up. Wire is a starter deck 10 blocker, and it's a pretty good card. Like, honestly, for a budget RP Law build, I like his build. I like what he's doing. He drops the Chopper blocker. He draws because of Wire's ability, which I'll make sure that Wire gets. You guys can look at Wire's beautiful picture. He discards the Raise Max, and I remember this happened last night, so I do remember, believe it or not. I remember him saying, I will probably regret this, but he discards the Raise Max. I know he doesn't have Film Gordons. I know he has Raise Maxes because I gave them to him because he didn't have any when he started playing. And I said, no. We support fellow RP Law players. So I gave him the Raise Maxes, and every time he uses them against me, I give him shit now. All in good fun, of course. So I'm at 8 Dawn. I'm trying to see what I can do here. I go pretty heavy into Sachi and Penguin just to try and clear some of those 7k swings off the board because it is, in fact, obnoxious. And I leave 1 Dawn up. I play the Kikanojo. I've got the Okama way, so if he's swinging 7, I can at least get a life off of it. And so yeah, he goes ahead, lets Sachi and Penguin go, and he gets his Dawn. He's at, what is that? 7 Dawn? Is that right? Yeah, I think 7 Dawn at this point, yeah. Which, wow, that is some great ramp. And I know I can Okama way into Kikanojo if I need to, and that's, I'm assuming, what I'll probably end up doing. So he doesn't have a ton of cards in hand. I think he has 2 or 3 from what I can see. Maybe a little more than that. Less than 6 in his hand, which is pretty good for me. And I don't think he's gotten, it looks like 3. I don't think he's gotten his hands on some Reijus, and that's kind of what I was counting on, is that he's got no Reijus. They, you know, so just kind of, my goal here is to kind of starve him out. So he swings 7, which is annoying. I Okama away, which realistically, I probably could have taken that and then redirected the next attack. But I didn't feel too bad about doing this, just because now I'm back at 4 life, which these videos have been just so fun for me to edit, I say sarcastically, with all the life juggling. But yeah, so he's trying to figure out what he wants to do. He taps 4, he plays out the blocker law, so he's got blockers on blockers, which is honestly scary. And he passes turn, I top deck a Kikanojo. I'm like, cool. That's honestly, I'm okay with that. So I think I go ahead and I think I drop. So I think I drop. No, I swing first. Thank God. I swing 5, 6, 7 into him just to see what he wants to do, and he discards. He blocks with Wire, which is solid for me because I think Wire gets him Dawn when he minuses Dawn. And I drop the category, and I send Kid into the bottom of his life. So he's at 4 life again, but he's not gaining Dawn. And I always want to call that blocker Law. I know it's not Law. Kid is very useful for RP Law. So, yeah. And I think we were joking, like, oh man, you're so low on Dawn, dude. Like, oh man. Just overall a really fun match, and I am happy that I swung first. I know that one of you guys just commented that I need to be swinging first, and I'm dropping Yamato's first, and you guys are so right. I need to be swinging first and not telegraphing my plays as obviously. So I will be working on that in the future. I read that comment after this tournament, but actually, I don't remember if I did minus a Dawn for the Okama way. I was pretty good at minusing Dawn for this tournament because of you guys. So, shout out to you guys. Thank you guys so much for, just giving me the feedback you guys have been giving me. I feel like I've definitely improved. So, he drops, I think his name is Kozu, which is part of his budget build. And honestly, it's kind of annoying. It was definitely annoying for me to deal with. So he drops 2 Raise Maxes minus his Katakuri, which, yeah, understandable. And I'm trying to do math, and then I'm just like, yeah, I think, 6, 8, yep, okay. And then he plays out the Kid and Killer, and he knows it doesn't get rushed, but at this point, he's got no hand, Lieutenant Dan, so I get the Capone, which is great, and I don't trigger Oh no, it doesn't have the 7k, excuse me, it has rush, but not the 7k. I always get that confused. So I 2k, I give him the 4k, and he passes for turn. I draw into Croc, which is so good. I know he just used 2 raise maxes. I know he has about 4 in his deck. And you can see I'm doing the thought process there. I remind him, oh yeah, that goes to the bottom of your deck. And he's like, right, I forgot. You know, this is round 1 of locals. We are mad chillin'. And yeah, so I'm doing the math there, and I'm thinking about how many raise maxes does he have? Will he be able to get rid of this? I swing another 7. I swing 7 into Kitten Killer. I want to get that body off the board, or I want him to use a blocker. Either is fine, and he ends up using Law, which I'm fine with. I drop Croc. It's Croc o'clock. And I go ahead, and he's not very familiar with this set in the Croc build, so I'm reading the cards to him, letting him know what's up, and that's, you know, I never want to deny my opponent knowledge, you know, that seems like such a shit move, and yeah, so I'm just trying to make sure he knows what Croc's about, and like just filling him in on that, and yeah, so my opponent has the Kozu, which if I didn't put a picture of him up already, I'll put one up again, or I'll put another one up. I know he's like a pretty low body, but he does minus when he swings. So it's definitely, like, I don't hate it. And I think last time I played against him, I was playing Blue Dofi, and that card was a pain in my ass. He plays another one, which is great, and it's a 2 cost, so it's a small card, but it's a pain. So he ends up swinging pretty big here, and I just go ahead and take it. I get the missed double finger. I decide not to trigger it out, because what's the point? And he passes turn. I get a Capone, so I'm sitting okay with counters, and I am back at my 10 Dawn, and I think I feel like I probably dropped Kikinojo, and that's about it. He's got no cards in hand, so I'm trying to decide how much I want, like how hard I want to swing. I go 6 just because I know he has no cards in hand, and like, yeah. So he gets 1 card in hand. I tap 4. I drop Kikinojo, and I feel like I don't swing with Croc this turn. Because I am trying to starve his... Yeah, so I don't swing with Croc because I am trying to kind of starve him out. So, like, I poked him, but I don't want him to get 2 cards. I don't want him to get enough cards to really, like, benefit. Like, he's got all his Dawn. He's got 10 Dawn at this point. So I don't want him to be able to drop, you know, bodies and then benefit from... In my mind, it made sense. I don't know if it's necessarily the best play. There is a chance he could have, you know, blocked with Tony Chopper. But yeah, I thought that was the best play, or the best thing for me to do at that point. Just because I was concerned about starving his hand, and I figured if I could get enough larger bodies on the field, I could then kind of just hit him for the rest of his life in 1 turn. And that's kind of where I was aiming. So he's got 2 in hand right now, and he is swinging 7, the jerk. Oh, no, he doesn't swing 7. He decides not to be a jerk, thank goodness. He taps 2 and plays out the Law, which I know this Law was like in RP Law decks in the beginning, and it kind of faded out. I really like it in his build, at least, because or at least in this game, it worked really nicely for him because he was low on cards, that he was gaining cards every time he attacked. So he goes ahead, and what he does is he just swings into lead. He's you know, fails swing, but he minuses Kikinojo by 3 and bottom decks her, and I'm like, oh, that's annoying, rude. I thought that he had to have a Dawn attached, but there's no little black circle. So, no, he doesn't need a Dawn attached. Yeah, so that was, like, honestly really smart on him to do that. He swings big. I think he minus his Croc, but, you know. I go ahead and I Croc ability to get an active Dawn, and I've got a handful of 2Ks. I just trash Capone, because, you know. And then I decide to take it, and I go ahead and trigger out Miss Valentine. I put it back, and I get the search. And look at this search! Thankfully, Miss Valentine, so I get two, I like remember top decking the 2 Miss Valentines, and I was like, oh my god. But thankfully, Miss Valentine is one of the few searchers that can grab herself. So I wouldn't have whiffed completely, but that definitely was a little scary. But we do find the 8-cost Croc, which is great. So he swings 7. It's 7 because I'm at 2. He swings 7, and we get a Miss Wednesday blocker, which is, like, I know that Miss Wednesday can be bottom decked, and I'm thinking, like, okay, that's something I can kind of bait him into bottom decking in a way. You know, it will get him to minus his Dawn, which, you know, he doesn't have a ton of Dawn right now. He's got 4, 5, 6 Dawn, which is a ton of Dawn for Law, never mind. But I go ahead, I swing, what is that, 3 or 4 into Kozu just to try and get him off the field so there's less minusing. I swing 6 into the Kid and Killer to get another body off board, and we get him off board. I know that Kozu, he has to attach a decent amount of Dawn to, and I drop the 8-cost Croc. I minus 2, and I gain a life. Just Croc doing Croc things. Honestly, it's annoying. It's definitely very annoying to play against. I know. I think the one of the opponents I played, I feel like it was the guy who was playing Kid. Which shout out to my guy playing Kid, Mr. Ron there. I think he mentioned, like, I've killed like 5 of his life already. I think it was him or one of the other guys. I can't remember, but somebody mentioned I've killed like 5 of his life already, and like realistically, yeah, with Croc, like all you're doing is like letting your life drain to like 1 to 2 and then getting it back. It is obnoxious. Excuse me, but we got two in hand, 2 Crocs on field, so we can cycle 2 of our cards. We have a 2K, we have a 1K, you know, and I'm not super like worried. We're both at 3 life. Just he's low on cards in hand, but he does still have that Law on field, and that guy is a little obnoxious. Just because he can search for, I believe it's a Heart Pirate. I will put a picture on on screen if I remember. But he just goes 5 into the Miss Valentine, and I let her go. You know, she's done her job. She did her job. She did it well. Now we got 2 Crocs on board. We have 1 pretty Croc and 1 basic bitch Croc. I thought I had all pretty Crocs, so having 1 of the standard Crocs, cringe. So he ends up getting Beppo, and I remember laughing because I was like, "You're so low on Dawn. You need Beppo." Because he was like, "Get Beppo, even though I don't really need him." And I was like, "No, you do need him. Look how little Dawn you have." But yeah, my opponent honestly he got the kid out early, and it really helped him. Even though I took care of the kid like 2 turns, I think it was, after having the kid out early, like let him be able to just kind of get to 5 Dawn and stay above there. Granted, I didn't play a ton that he needed for board removal, but my opponent goes ahead and plays Pell, which I will put a picture on screen. And then he plays is that another Law? It looks like another Law, yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he swings 5, and I use Miss Wednesday to counter out, just because I'm thinking he's not going to swing anything else, really. And at this point, I'm like, and then he swings with chopper. So he's 4, 5, 6, 7 with chopper. Is that right? Yeah, he swings with chopper. He minuses Croc. I take that swing and I get Yamato, which I'm like, sick. And then he minuses Croc again. He minuses Croc by 6 and bottom decks Croc, and I'm like, okay, that's impressive. I'm not even mad. I was a little mad. No, I wasn't mad, but then we get another Croc, and thankfully it's a pretty Croc. So he didn't bottom deck the pretty Croc. I remember specifically, I was like, we were joking. I was calling him toxic for bottom decking Croc, and he was like, I left you the pretty one. And I was like, thank you. So here I'm trying to decide if, and I'm not putting, I was showing you the leader spot on my playmat that I made. Wow, available on Etsy /1000noble. Crazy. Anyway, I swing 6, super good advertising. I swing 6 into life and let him go, and I was torn between playing Croc to gain the life or playing Yamato to pop something on his board, and I'm pretty sure I play Yamato. Yeah, I swing 9 into law, let him go, and I play Yamato, and I pop Kozu just because I don't want the minus effect. And he's with Pell and Kozu. There was going to be a lot of minusing going on. And so hopefully, I'm thinking at this point, like, hopefully the big bodies will stay and I can, make something happen. And we are at 21 minutes in this game. There was not a lot of, cheese film before. Sometimes I show you guys the mulligan and stuff, but this game went to time. I think we were the last game playing, so it was a really, really good game. I feel like we both played really well. Definitely starting off the night very strong, and as I've said, like, every time I see his deck gets scarier and scarier. So he's trying to decide if he wants to swing into Croc. And he goes 5, 6, 7, I believe, into life, and I end up taking it. We get the hero, the GOAT, Mr. Bon Clay. Like this video if you cried when he stayed impaled down. Sorry for the spoilers, but you had a couple years to get there. So my opponent picks up Gamma Knife, and I'm like, oh no, because I'm thinking he's gonna Gamma Knife my Croc or my Yamato and get that big body off board, and that is gonna suck. So he is trying to figure out what he wants to do. He's got 2 in hand. He hasn't swung with lead or with Pell. And I know Pell has a minusing effect. If I didn't put Pell on screen before, I'll put him on screen now. He swings pretty big here. I think 5, 6, 7, 8. No, it's gotta be 9. Oh no, so he swings 8 into my Croc, and he drops Croc by 1, I believe. So there, he swings even. So I counter out with the 2K. I want Croc on the field, and yeah, he Gamma Knifes the Croc, and again, very, very toxic. But he's kind of low on Dawn, I say, as he has 5 Dawn. So he goes to pass turn, and I'm like, you want to swing the lead? Like, you haven't swung the lead. I'm not trying to be, it's local, so I'm not too worried about it. He swings with lead. I counter out with Bonchan there, and I am trying to figure out what I want to do. I go 7 into Law just because that him being able to search and get a card every time has kind of helped his hand stay up. And so I end up passing turn. And I remember being like, I didn't swing with Yamato. And he was like, do you want to swing with Yamato? And I was like, no. Like, I'm trying to be better about, like, not, because everybody I play with is so nice that every time I'm like, oh, I forgot to do this. They're like, you want to take it back? And I'm trying to get better about not taking it back. Because, I want to learn from that mistake. And, I know that people won't let me take it back in a more serious setting. Not that I'm gonna go like super crazy into serious settings, but you know, I want to hold myself to a higher standard, if you will. Just, you know, for shits and giggles, I guess. I don't know. But my opponent's thinking about what he wants to do, and he swings pretty big with Pell, minusing Croc. I go ahead and I Croc ability. I did not -2 for my Croc there. Toxic. Yeah. I don't think I -2 to play Croc. I am so sorry about that. He swings 7, and at this point I'm getting pretty nervous. So thankfully I have the counter to counter out of the Beppo swing, otherwise he would have had game right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and make the game go on longer. Yeah, I definitely did not minus. Oh my god, Freya. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. So he swings 7 again with Pell. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I swing 8 or 9 into Beppo, that's his name. And I play a Yamato. I blow up the... Yeah, because he has 3 life. So he's got no board at this point, and I swing 9 into his life. He's got no board, no hand. He takes it. He decides not to trigger it out. And I pass turn with 1 Dawn up. I'm trying to bait the Okama away. I know with I can take a hit, and then if he gets Kid and Killer, that's really rough, to put it simply. So I'm definitely nervous at this point. I was wondering how this matchup would go. I was also wondering how the matchup into like Gecko would go, but the one game I did play against Gecko was the game my deck just didn't give me any ramp and didn't want to work with me. So it's the one game I will not be uploading because it's just not fun to watch. Gecko did Gecko things, and I sat there twiddling my thumbs. I didn't get any life heal. I didn't get any ramp. Didn't get any life heal. It was a rough game. So we are not uploading that game. But so yeah. So at this point, we are like the last game playing, and some of the people are watching and looking at his hand and, you know, commenting on the sauce that he has in his hand. My opponent drops the chopper blocker, which is honestly pretty good. And then he swings really big. I can't even count that high into Croc, and I go ahead and Croc ability, and I draw, and let me see, 5, 6. So he swings like 11. And I'm trying to decide. I discard the Croc, because I'm thinking I can go for game. He's got 2 life. I can go for game, and I can put a blocker down. He passes turn, so I get arrow, and I'm like, okay, like that's pretty solid. So I go ahead and swing 9. He takes, and so this turn I don't want to give him the opportunity to play to get or do I? I do. So he swings and he gets Kid, and I haven't swung with lead, so I swing with lead, and he thinks that that's game, and so and I'm like, you got a blocker, and he's like, oh right. So he ends up blocking with Chopper, and we got a blocker too. So if he gets Kid and Killer, he could realistically bottom deck. Actually, I think Miss Wednesday's a 4K. I think he needs a minusing effect to bottom deck Miss Wednesday. I will put an editor's note in right here. And I do have the arrow. I have 1 Dawn up, and I have the arrow. So I'm not mad about that at all, realistically. Arrow can really come in clutch. If he does swing 7, 6, 5, that puts him at 4. So, you know. So here he's like, I'm going to do a big swing, and then he decides not to. And, yeah, so he's got no life, no blockers, 1 card in hand. He goes ahead and swings 8 into life. And I go ahead and block out with Miss Wednesday. I mean, why not? If he does pull out the Kid and Killer, I can potentially survive. If he pulls out 2 Kids and Killers, I think I can survive. If he does it with Law ability. Yeah, he's got 5 non-left. Kid and Killer is 4. So, yeah, he could go 7. 8, 9. So, yeah, I can live. But he does drop the Rush Zoro, and that has me worried. And he swings big. And I just go ahead and take, and I get Blast Breath. So I'm like, okay, I'm going for game. And I just go ahead, and don't worry, we know he swung with Zoro, and he doesn't have the counter to get out of a 9K. So that is the game. That is the first game. We got really lucky a couple of times, and honestly, the sustainability that Croc has proved to just be so helpful. But yeah, that is game 1 in this tournament. Next game, actually tomorrow, is a sim video. We do sim videos on Sunday. I think we're playing Boa Hancock. That is probably one of the decks I will be building for OP07, Boa Hancock, as well as, surprisingly, Lucci. Even though I am a avid black deck hater, Lucci has piqued my interest and looks really fun. So we're going to give Boa a try on the sim tomorrow, and then after that we will continue with the Croc o'clock, and then get some Odin games, and then it looks like you guys are wanting some purple Luffy. So that is what we're going to be doing in the future. But if you made it here to this point in the video, you are the best, you are the GOAT. Comment with a little GOAT emoji. And yeah, that'll do it for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked this video, hit that like button down below. It helps me out more than you can ever know. Go ahead and subscribe if you are new. We are so close to 100 subs. Oh, this has been so great. I cannot thank you guys enough. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. You guys are beautiful. Have a wonderful, fabulous rest of your day.